Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to unpack the completely fascinating psychological architecture behind a habit that almost all of us share, which is constantly rewatching the exact same shows. And this isn't just about entertainment. It's really about the deep wiring of the human mind and how we intuitively seek out comfort. Let's dive right in.
So, picture this. You've just spent 20 minutes, maybe even more, aimlessly scrolling through a streaming app, desperately looking for something new, only to ultimately settle on the exact same episode of The Office or Friends that you've already seen 10 times. I know I do it all the time. It feels like you're just being indecisive, but there's actually a brilliant psychological reason why your brain keeps pulling you back to the familiar.
Now, it's super easy to write this off as just being lazy, right? But honestly, scratch that. It's a complete myth. When you reach for that familiar episode, it's actually a brilliant way your mind actively manages stress, uncertainty, and your own emotional energy in what can often be a highly unpredictable world.
Which brings us to Section 1, Craving Control and Safety.
Let's be real. Our daily lives are messy. They're unpredictable and they're full of curveballs we can't always manage. But a familiar show, that offers the exact opposite. It gives you clear rules and a completely guaranteed ending. When life feels totally chaotic out there, returning to a world where you know exactly what's going to happen is incredibly stabilizing.
Think of it kind of like cleaning your house. Just like a clean, organized room can create a feeling of stability when other things in your life feel a little up in the air, rewatching a favorite episode does the exact same thing for your mind. It instantly turns an overwhelming day into something you can easily manage, simply because the element of surprise is entirely gone.
Okay, moving into Section 2, reducing your cognitive load. Every single day, your brain processes an absolute mountain of information. So starting a brand new, complex drama, say Game of Thrones or Succession, that actually demands a really high cognitive load. You have to put in the real mental work to learn new characters, follow complex plots, and figure out completely new emotional stakes. Over time, that high demand can lead to serious mental fatigue. So starting a new story means genuine mental exertion. But throwing on a familiar episode of Parks and Rec, that lets your brain shift directly into low-effort mode. The massive benefit of this reduced cognitive load is that you bypass all the mental exhaustion of processing new info. It gives your mind a much-needed break because it doesn't have to work hard at all to figure out what happens next. And beyond just saving mental energy, this habit acts as serious emotional self-protection. Let's face it, dealing with real-life pain or conflict doesn't always feel safe. Returning to a beloved show provides a sanctuary where you aren't at risk of being unheard or dismissed. The characters just become this beautifully reliable constant in your life, offering a sense of belonging without any of that real-world inconsistency. They are always exactly who you expect them to be.
Let's jump to Section 3, predictable dopamine rewards.
Our brains have an incredible internal reward system built entirely around pattern recognition. Think about it. When you just know Kramer's about to slide backward through Jerry's door on Seinfeld, you anticipate the punchline. The event happens exactly as expected, and boom, you experience a dopamine reward. You literally get a quick chemical hit just for successfully predicting the pattern.
The function of these predictable dopamine rewards is so critical because it creates a reliable reward loop. This repetitive cycle makes you feel grounded and honestly successful in your understanding of the story. It is an incredibly effective psychological tool for anchoring yourself when you might be feeling off balance in other areas of your life. You are giving yourself a biological feeling of success on demand.
Finally, we land on Section 4, Regaining Emotional Balance.
Psychology shows us something deeply comforting here. Repetitive, familiar tasks can physically calm your nervous system down when you're feeling overwhelmed. Rewatching a show isn't about avoiding reality, which is a super common misconception, by the way. Rather, it's about giving your nervous system the peaceful, predictable environment it desperately needs, so you have the mental space to reflect and process your own feelings.
I absolutely love this concept. It essentially replaces the anxious what if of an unknown plot with the deeply calming I know of a story you already love. It takes you from a state of low-level anxiety straight to absolute emotional safety. It's a profound psychological shift triggered simply by pressing play on an episode you've already seen a dozen times.
So, why does all of this matter? Understanding these patterns is incredibly empowering. It proves you are actively prioritizing your own mental clarity. You are setting the terms for how you consume the world, and it absolutely proves you are not just stuck or being lazy.
Getting to know the brilliant mind behind your own behavior is a profound mechanism of self-care.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Once you understand the hidden architecture of your mind, how are you going to view your need for a familiar story differently? The next time you find yourself naturally choosing the comfort of your favorite show, I really hope you don't feel guilty. I hope you feel empowered, knowing your mind is just taking exactly what it needs to recharge and find its footing again. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this today.